question that I told you I have not covered. Okay? And I took that question out of the test, and I replaced it with a good question. So I'm going to pull the test up after we write these down, and we're going to go through it. I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay? So, and it's very important that you write these down, because you have to read, so you don't, memorizing them doesn't do any good, because you've got to read them to understand what you're doing. And the only thing I would suggest that you do is take a set of brackets and put on this one right there, please, because a lot of times students mess that first part up, and a set of brackets can take care of it. I thought I extended the test a couple of days. I didn't extend it. It's due tonight. Okay, I'll fix it. I'll fix it and make it due not tonight, but maybe tomorrow night or the next night. That way nobody will have an excuse.
Have you eliminated all excuses?
I've tried.
Is the homework still due tonight?
Huh?
Is the homework still due tonight?
I don't know. Is it still due? I don't know. Is it? I've still had two or three emails this weekend. When's the homework due? And when's the from my online classes? No, from my online classes.
What did Zach say?
What? I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Is that an N?
What are you doing?
I'm not doing it. Evidently, somebody's putting a board up in the next room or something.
Oh, lovely.
Minus. Yeah, everything's minus. There's no equal in the formula. You can't have an equal in the formula. That's all right. We know you're on track.
Is that an N? In the
N? Yes, all of them's N. There's only 3 letters in this formula: N, X, and F.
No, my eyes are bad. The fx is squared, right?
Yes. There's a fx squared, and then there's a fx quantity squared, which are 2 different animals. They done got the drill out again. And square root of the variance. So really, you don't need to copy the third one. You just need to take the square root of the variance, and that's so. Unless you just like to write formulas, and you can write that formula out at a local bar and make yourself look smart. You can do that if you want to. Put an integration or a derivative symbol, you know. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. You ever heard of 3 guys going down to the Clemson USC football game? Joke. God won so much liquor and beer off of that one. Where's the missing dollar? Nobody's ever heard of the missing dollar? It's your parents' fault. Mr. Smith, it's your parents' fault. I don't blame your mother as much as I blame your father. All right, so let's go to our handy dandy test. Everybody got them written down? I'm going to pull them back up again. All right, and I'm going to go to the test, and I'm going to pull up the question that I replaced, and that way you'll see, so y'all won't have that excuse, so I didn't know this problem and all that bull. So let me go down to, where's assignments? Quizzes and tests. I hate when they do that. One course they call it quizzes and tests. The other course they call it assignments. Damn Russians. They mess with your test, they beat you up, throw you in a band, tell you who to vote for, and then they mess up your test. Can't have nothing. All right. Let's find it. It should be a question. Watch, I guarantee it won't pull it up because I'm looking for it. Frequency, there we go. No, I don't want to do that one. That's the one I don't want to do because it's too, okay, we'll go ahead and do it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and copy it to a Excel spreadsheet, or I'm going to copy it. Yeah, I'd rather do it in Excel. Okay, so go ahead and write it down and
You gotta knock it back, man.
usually I'm not one to complain. Good gracious. Okay, there we go. Now, oh, they did what I asked them to do. I suggested this last semester. Oh my gosh, I feel so, it might not have been me, it might have been somebody else. But if you notice, they have if you look at the question, look how they write the question. You see how the question's written? That's your frequency distribution. You got your classes on the left, and you got your head count on the right. Everybody see that? But when you take it to the Excel spreadsheet, what does it do? It breaks it down into the lower class limit and to the upper class limit. Does anybody know why they did this when they put it in the Excel spreadsheet? Anybody want to take a guess?
As it goes to a certain number?
No. That's a good guess, though. I want to make you feel good. I don't want to make you feel bad. Wrong. For giving us a guess.
It's a guess. Okay.
Why did they do that? Anybody, some of the Excel people might want to know. Why did they break it up into the lower limit and the upper limit? Why didn't they just leave it like this over here? Because in Excel, you can't do calculations with a class. Why? Because you can't. How do you add 0 to 499? How do you multiply 500 to 999? How do you multiply that? You can't do anything with a class. So you might as well just basically what? Give up. Yeah, give up. You could just skip the question if you wanted to. You basically what? Can delete that first, because mathematically it's what? No use. Okay? There's no use in that first equation because you can't take 0 to 499. You can't take that and mathematically calculate it. Does everybody understand what I'm talking about? Okay, so what they did is they broke it up into the lower class limit and the upper class limit because, write this down with your formulas. Let's go back to the whiteboard. X is equal to the class midpoint. Write that down.
The class what?
Midpoint. X is equal to the class midpoint. Miss Pittman, you're not supposed to talk.
I'm sorry.
You're Skyping in. You're not supposed to talk.
You want the other classes to talk?
I'm kidding. It's a joke. The Oconee campus is really getting mad at you right now because you're talking. You're asking questions. You're not supposed to do that.
This is a no talking zone.
I need to know.
And what's your name back in the back, Oconee? You talked several times, and they done fixed you. You won't talk anymore. Yeah, that guy back there, he won't talk
It's
anymore.
because we beat him up.
Exactly. They went outside and whooped him upside the head a couple of times. They're going to do you the same way, Miss Pittman. You keep talking. The Oconee campus is going to find you.
It. No, don't beat me up.
All right, so X is what? X is the midpoint. Write that down. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to go back to the handy-dandy Excel spreadsheet, and I'm going to calculate my first column, which will be called what? X. X, and I'm going to put midpoint. Now, this is how you do it in the Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to try to show you how to do it in the calculator. If somebody knows, good, because I don't do it. I show it every semester, and I forget, so I'll have to go through. I think it's called, I think I know how to do it. I can't remember, but we'll see if we can do it. All right, so I need to find the midpoint of this class right here, 0 to 499. So what am I going to do? How do you find the mid-range, whatever you want to call it? How do you find the mid-range or the midpoint? You take the lower class limit and do what? Add it to the, oh my gosh, are you the one that listened? And divide it by what?
2.
And then you copy what? Down. Look at there. It's a miracle. So now I'm going to highlight that per day. Why am I going to highlight it per day? Because that's what we're going to use in our formula. And I'll put little dang old borders around it so everybody feel good about themselves. And I got to center it because I can't stand not having it centered. OCD. Okay, so that's X. So let's look back at our formula. Look at all those X's. We got an X right here. We got an X right here. We got an X right here. Wow. What else do we need? So we got X covered, right? We don't have X squared covered, but we got X covered. Everybody got X? Okay, what else do we need? The head count's already here. Here's the head count. We're going to highlight that. We're going to put an F right here. So you've already got F. It's given. So hopefully none of y'all will mess that up. Somebody will. And we'll color that Amarillo. I know it's Amarillo. I can't say it, but Amarillo. Say it one more time.
I think it's Amarillo.
Amarillo.
You gotta roll your tongue, right?
Yeah, because of the L's, right? Yeah.
I can't roll it.
Dang old Grandma Napoleon Dynamite's grandmother. She don't use silent L. It's quesadillas. Make some quesadillas. Y'all like Napoleon? You either hate that show because it's stupid, or you love it because it's so funny. I love it because when you went to high school, there was always this guy that was like Napoleon Dynamite. No matter where you went to high school, although some people went to Walk on Water High School, but most high schools, have a Napoleon Dynamite. Okay, I'll shut up. All right, so now we go back to there we go. So now we've got F. What else do we need? We got F, we got X, what else? N. Well, what did I tell you N was a long time ago? The summation of X, right? Or the summation of F in this case. So I'm going to put N is equal to, and I'll put that on the right side because that's bothering me. There we go. And take the handy dandy sum and add up all those numbers. And that's 500. I'm going to highlight that. Dang old. How do you say bleu? I know that's French, but how do you say bleu in Mexican? I'm sorry. Spanish? Huh? How do you say it?
Azul.
Azul. I can't ever remember Azul. Azul. I got to remember that daggum in Ghostbusters. What was the demon named in Ghostbusters originally? I think it was Zul. Azul. Azul. He was in the refrigerator. Azul. Okay, I'll shut up. There we go. So now you've got all three, but we need one more. Look at the formulas. You've got N, you've got X, you've got F. But which one do you not have?
The mu.
X squared. We don't have X squared. So we got to have another column. And what are we going to call it? X squared. It's a miracle. I'll do the first one for you, save you one. Equals this number raised to the second power.
So why don't you lock that with F4 like you do with the other ones?
Because you're not taking a number and dividing by another number or somewhere in another part of the... See, remember before you were dividing by the mean. Well, that's one number. And if you scroll down, if you copy down, it's going to take the next number and the next number and the next number. That's why you have to hold that one number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to center it. And underline.
Is Anita in there?
Yes.
You should be able to see us.
I can't. I can see the first with the hat on right there and you.
Okay, well, that's not bad.
That's okay. That's enough.
All right, I'm going to color that. Go ahead. You need to ask her a question?
No, I was just going to ask
Oh,
her
you
to
just
go
wanted
ahead
to
and
know if she
call
was
her
here,
for
she was
some
laying
notes.
up. Okay, if she's laying out, okay.
What?
There you go. So now those colored parts is what's important. So in your notes, you should have you should have this in your notes. Not that. Give me a second. I'm going between 3 different applications here. You should have this written down as a table, as a frequency distribution. And then you should have what? These formulas. Now, what did I tell you about formulas? You're not to memorize them. You're to what? Starts with an R. Read them. So let's start with the simple one. Let's start with the mean. So what do we need to do? We need to take a column and name it what? I just underlined it for those of you not paying attention. F times what? F times X. Because what do we need to do with F times X? We need to add it up and then divide by what? What's the summation of F? Another name for N. So you could rewrite this X bar as the summation of F and put a little dot right in the middle right here. F times X, I can't do it with the mouse, but F times X over N. So let's go do that. So what am I going to name this column right here? F times what? X. So you need to put in your notes, you need to put a column, F times X. And somebody tell me what the first one's going to be. Equals what number times what number? Nine times what? 249.5. And copy that down and do each one of those calculations. For your notes, I would do the first one, the middle one, and the last one. So you don't have to take a lot of time doing it. I'll give you all a chance to kind of catch up. Make sure you ask questions, because out of all of the concepts, this is the one that not a lot of people are familiar with. Even the ones that walk on water, they're not familiar with it.
You said F times X. It's the frequency times the bit-point. All right. Yeah,
X right there. X times F right there. Yes. And like I said, don't feel bad, because this is a lot of times this is the one that people are not familiar with.
How come on the X squared column it was squared using F?
Because I messed up. Thank you. I suck. Now it's time for everybody to say, "Yeah, I thought that was wrong." Let's say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead.
I thought that was wrong.
We thought that was wrong.
Okay, because that's what everybody does. Even Bubba, sitting on the back row, that don't have a clue what state he's in. Yeah, man, you're wrong. Sorry about that. Thank you. There. That would have made, well, I would have called it eventually at the end. When I got it wrong, I would have called it. All right, now I'm not highlighting this because we don't need all of this. We just need the what? We just need the sum. So I'm going to go down here. I can hit this and hit Control C. And go over here and hit Control V. There's our sum. I'm going to color it a different color though. We'll color it. I'm out of colors. Let me go in here and find a. That's a reddish color, I guess. Okay, so that number, 1,217,750, that's that F times X right here. That's this right here. So we'll take our handy dandy, if we have, let's say, what do we color it, red? I don't like using that red. But that number we just found right there is that BA number right here. I'm going to move this over, of course. There we go. That's that number right there. Everybody with me? Now, what are we going to divide that number by? N. Well, what's our N? Well, it's in blue. And our N is what? 500. So everybody calculate the mean of this frequency distribution. I'll go down here and I'll say mean is equal to this number right here divided by this number right here. Dang it, I want to make it smaller. There you go.
What was the second number you divided it by?
N. We'll take this out. Does everybody understand how you got that now? Read the formula. Well, I can't read it right now because oh man, that's why I don't like using red. Oh my God. One of these days we're gonna get training. One day. Did I ever tell y'all the story of our training on these boards? Tri-County Tech ordered these these are Rolexes, okay? These Epson projection systems, they're the Rolexes. And we got them 2 years ago. And it was the fall of 2 years ago, which would be 2017. Do you know when they were installed? 4 days before the fall semester started. Do you know when we got training?
2 days.
Friday before the fall training started. You know what the training consisted of? How to turn it off and on with the remote control. Have y'all seen any teachers actually using these Epsons? They use the whiteboard. It's amazing. They got a Rolex and they use the whiteboard. So I'm still learning because I have had no training on this board. So y'all just bear with me.
There's one in Pendleton that would never work.
Who?
Projector. It would never work. Like it wouldn't even come on. And then my biology teacher wrote on the on the thing you pulled out.
Yeah.
That was a whiteboard.
I mean, these people, there's some people teaching at Tri-County Tech. They're dumb as a box of hammers when it comes to technology.
He thought it like one of our, like somebody in our class was fell on him, and he was like, "It's okay, I'll fix it."
Yeah. Anyway, there is the formula. You take F times X, and you write that down. The head count times the midpoint, and then you divide by, and that's N. The summation of F is the same as N. Now I want you to find the variance. I'm going to leave that on the board right there, and I want you to go in. You've got X squared now. You've got that column. Go in and do another column, and it's going to be called F times what? X squared. Do we already have F of X summation? Do we already have that? Which one do we already have? We have this one because this one came from where? This right here. So I'm going to highlight that one the same color. What was that color? Red? Yeah, it was a red. It colors. Ugh. This one right here, not the square, but the F of X is right there. So you already have that number. All you have to calculate now is the summation of F times what? X squared. So you need to make a column, and call it F times X squared, and you need to make that column, do it in your calculator right quick. And I hope we will be able to do this in the calculator so I can show you how to do it in the calculator. Does it taste a little better since you put some water in it? Yeah, it's a miracle. So I'll give y'all about 2 or 3 minutes to do F times X squared in your notes. And remember, you got to add it up after you do F times X squared. I'll go to the handy dandy. We'll do F times X squared. That's going to equal F 9 times what? Times those BA numbers. I do that. And we're going to color this one. Color it gray, so we run out of colors. Now it's very important that you either make sure your notebook looks like this page, or take a picture of it, or one of those two things, because if you're doing this by hand, you have to read the formula, and you have to make sure you've got the columns covered in the formula. So if the formula says F times X squared, you've got to have a column called F times X squared. And then that means you have to have a column X squared because you're given F. In fact, I think I'll not color this one, because the only thing you're given, basically, well, really, the only thing you're given is the yellow column. But we'll go ahead and, these two columns here, the colored columns, they're technically given to you with the problem. Now you do have to calculate the X, you do have to calculate this one, okay? But these 4 columns, you need to make a note. When you do this by hand, you're going to have to calculate those 4 columns. The midpoint, the X squared, F of X, and F times X, and F times X squared. You will have to calculate those. Now, do we have everything we need to do the variance? Yes. So I'm going to make this small, and I'm going to go right here. I need y'all to write down, make sure you got it written down in your notes, those 4 numbers. 500, 1217750, that BA number, and then I think that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Hold it
So
down one
I'm
second.
going to pull up my handy dandy. Okay, so first I need n times the summation of f times x squared. Well, which one is the summation of f times x squared? The red or the gray? The gray. Okay, now let's talk about this because this is where students get confused. These two guys, I can't. Where is the unfair? This guy is not the same as this guy. Do you understand? If I gave you f is equal to 2 and x is equal to 3, 2 times 3 squared is what? 18. But if I give you 2 times 3 and tell you to square it, what is 6 squared? 36. Is 18 equal to 36? So therefore, those two things are not the same. That's why we got two different columns. Now, that's why it's important. I told you two things that you have to be able to do, and one thing you have to be able to do in probability and statistics. Starts with a R. You have to what? Read. Okay? This one says f times x quantity, not quantity squared, f times x squared. So that means that last column, right here, f times x squared. There it is. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put variance. And I'm not going to calculate it yet. I'm going to put my numbers in the places they need to be. So n is equal to what? 500. And we're going to multiply that 500 times what? F times x squared summation. Everybody with me? So I'm going to put that one on the left side like that. So we're going to multiply those two numbers together. Then we're going to subtract. What does the formula say now? Let's go back to the formula. What does it say? The summation of f times x. And what are we going to do to the summation of f times x? We're going to square it. So what is our summation of f times x? Red or gray? Red. So we're going to take the 121 blah, blah, blah. We're going to take that. So I'm going to say equals this guy. And I'm going to put right here to the second power. We haven't started calculating yet. I'm putting everything where it needs to be. Now let's read the formula. Over n, what's n? 500, so I'm going to put it in the denominator here. Equals n. Okay, now I might have to do this one because this is a lot of calculation here. 500 minus 1. There's some people that will make that difficult. So there is your formula. Now I want everybody to go ahead and start doing 500 times this BA number. Then I want you to take 121, blah, 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 raise it to the second power. Then I want you to whittle it down until you get the variance. Do that with your calculator. We're going to do another one after this one, but I'm going to let y'all work on it. The next one we do will be a whole lot less cumbersome because it doesn't have as big numbers on the frequencies. I mean on the upper and lower limits. I just give this one to people I don't like.
Sure you do.
Yep.
Hey, Mr. C. Mr.
What?
MC.
Hubert.
I have to go
My
back
name
to
is
class.
Hubert.
Mr. Hubert.
Yeah, that's good. That's good as I'm going to get.
I have to go back.
Wouldn't
Is that okay?
You have to go back where?
Back to a class I was in.
Oh, go right ahead.
Yeah. Thank
Just
you.
make sure you watch the video.
I will. Thank you.
Okay. See you later.
Bye.
What class is she? What class are you in? Does she have another class at this time?
Probably. She probably watched your class while waiting to go to her next class. That's all.
Usually I have to do an override for a class if it conflicts with my class. That's what I'm confused about. Maybe she's being held by the Russians. Okay, what's 500 times that BA number? It's going to be another what? BA number. Does this number have to be bigger than this number, yes or no? Yes, because you can't take the square root of a what? A negative. So this number has to be bigger than this number. This number squared has to be bigger. Minus this number raised to the second power. And it is bigger. 1.7 is bigger than 1.5, so it is bigger. Divided by 500 times 499. So did everybody get similar numbers? I'm not going to say because some calculators might spit out the whole number. Some calculators do 1.69802 e to the 12th power, you know. And some people look at it like it's Japanese or something. Okay? So next, variance is equal to this number minus what? This number divided by that number. So our variance is equal to this number divided by this number. And we feel good about ourselves. And what do we do to get the standard deviation? Raise that number to the what? 0.5 power. And y'all should have a standard deviation of 929. Now, like I told you before, this is big numbers because you got big numbers here. So the mean is 2436. Okay, so I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know what the question was asking. What are we talking about here? Prices of cars or what? Y'all didn't read it either, did you? Okay, well, let me find my question. Where's my question? I'll get there. Hold on. There it is. Housing data. So the mean square footage. So the mean square footage of the housing is, it says round to the nearest integer. What'd I say? I'm getting there, people. 2436. So 2436 goes right here. And the standard deviation is 929.
This is one decimal place.
It really?
Yeah.
That pisses me off when it does that.
That's the one I missed. Like the first part was 2 decimal places and the next one was 1.
That is so. 928.5. Ask 1 to round to the nearest. Okay, and that's your answer. Okay? I'm sorry, what?
It's a 928.
Oh, 928? Thank you. Okay, I don't think it's going to give you another one on this one. Let me go to another test. Let me just go and pull it up. You know, we already covered all this. And I took the other question off because I've never seen a question like that before. I think so. I don't know. Okay, let's go to that test again. Let me just go here, and I'll just pull up the 2 questions because I only got 2. Assignment manager, where's y'all's test? Unit 1 test, no. Unit 1 test revised. Preview. See if it'll pull the other one up. It's not supposed to bunch them up like that. There we go. Now, it's going to ask for the same thing. I really don't care about what it's asking for because it's going to be the same thing. Let me go ahead and copy it. What is this? This is what? Summer months? Oh, high temperatures. Okay, high temperatures. So let's pull this one up, and I'm going to let y'all do this one. I'm going to delete the first column because you don't need that because they've broken it up. So I'm going to delete that one. There you go. And I'm going to make it bigger. And I want y'all to do this one. So these are temperatures and how many days the temperature was between 50 and 59 and so on. I can't take this. I got to make it centered. That drives me bananas. There we go. Somebody put something back in my truck. They got to make sure it's left. They can't put it on something else that's sitting like this. So it's sitting. Huh? Yeah. Just to give you a starter, what do you find first? Midpoint. So that's what? X. Then what do you find? X squared. Then what do you find? F times X. Were you listening? Hey, come. And then what? Gosh, there was 2 people listening. There's your columns. I hate when that happens. So I'm going to take the days out. What is the days called? That's F, right? So we're just gonna call that F. And the upper limit and lower limit, we're gonna highlight this green per day. And X is gonna be equal to parentheses, this guy plus this guy divided by 2. And copy that down. And I'll highlight it. So now you've got everything you need to start calculating. So it's 1:27. Give y'all 3 more minutes. Jada's not here today. Blackman's here. Fortner. Yep, here you go. Gilliard's here. King is here. Owens is here. Pittman was here. Rollins is here. And Smith is here. Everybody's here, Patterson. Except for Jada. And who we missing in Oconee? We're missing one person.
I think it's
Corey.
long.
Nope, I'm right here.
It's long.
Are you out? You finally woke up?
I've been
Glenn?
listening.
Glenn?
I'm here.
Long?
She is not.
She's not here.
Thank you.
One of my main problems is that this classroom is freezing, so I'm having to ball myself up to stay warm.
Ah, is it freezing in there, or why don't you think of this thermostat
I mean, to me
behind you?
it is, but to me it's cold.
You need to turn the thermostat up a little bit. Jack that thing up to dang old 88.
There actually is a thermostat.
See, for most people this temperature is like normal, but like, I am so cold. This is why I'm sitting like this, because I am so cold.
You must have a granny thermostat.
I do. My
Oh,
AC,
it's cold in here.
my AC isn't even on.
Oh well. I keep mine on about 74.
I also woke up at 5 this morning, so.
But at night, I have to turn it down because I'm one of those people. If it's not cold, I can't sleep.
See, I'm the opposite. Like, I like it cold during the day, but if it's like, it can't be too hot when I'm sleeping, but like.
Oh man,
I like it a little warmer.
I can't sleep when it's the same temperature as no, I can't.
I keep it on about 6 days.
In the wintertime, I still have the fan on.
Yeah, I have a fan right now.
No.
The next column you should have like A squared. You just go to the cell right here. You type equals, and you click on right here. Let me show you. So here's where you are right here. So I'm gonna hit equals. I'm gonna click on whatever I want to do, and then raise it to the second power like that, and hit enter. Now once you hit enter, it's in that cell, and now you just copy it down. Make sure I picked the right column this time. I think I did. So that should be your numbers for x squared. And now you just got to do your columns. So you try to do f times x. You try to do that one. So f times x. I'll do the first one for you. That's 54.5. Check your numbers against mine and see if they're the same. I mean, you don't have to check every single one of them. If the first one and the last one is the same, the chances are the ones in the middle are the same. Questions on that so far, what I've done so far? I just did the columns for you. Now, what summations do we need? I'm just going to put summation down here. Okay, equals this number, raised, shift, second power. Okay, which ones do we need sums on? We need one there, so I'm going to hit sum, and I'm going to do that. And now I'm going to just hit Control C. What else do I need? I need f times x added up, right? Control V and Control V. So that's what your finished product should look like going into the calculation. So check your numbers. Question, gripe, complaint. Now is when you need to read your formula. So I'm going to make this smaller now. And somebody tell me what the formula for the mean is. The summation of f times x, where's that? Right there, divided by what? Which is n, and that's going to be your mean. So that number divided by that number, and see what y'all got. I got 80.5. Question, gripe, complaint. So now let's do the standard or the variance. Variance is equal to, read the formula, n times what? The summation of what? Fx squared, not fx quantity squared. So that's that number right there. Minus what? The summation of f times x, what? Squared. So I'm going to put that there. And here I'm going to put a little caret symbol all over n times what? So that's what your variance formula should look like. N times summation of f times x, not quantity squared, f times x squared, minus f times x quantity squared over 3840 times 3839. Now I want y'all to calculate that if you hadn't done it. Go ahead and finish it out and calculate it with your calculators or your spreadsheets.
You just square f times x, right? That's the only thing you square.
Right there.
Yeah.
Just square that right there.
You don't square anything else.
I'm going to do it in the next step and you'll see it. Variance equals to those two BA numbers. What are you going to do to them? You're going to multiply them. That's going to be a BA number. Minus this number, quantity squared. Like you said, Mr. Smith, and that number is going to be that number. Over 3840 times 38 whatever. So there's your three numbers. And now you're just going to keep whittling away. Next one, you're going to take the BA number minus the other BA number. Should it give you a positive every time? Yes. Because you can't take the square root of a what? Negative. So that number has to be bigger than this number. If it's not, then you've done something what? And should quit school. Equals this number minus this number divided by this number. And I get 68.7, 68.8. And then, of course, the standard deviation. You do all that work. Do you do it for the variance or do you do it for the standard deviation? You do it for the standard deviation. The variance is worthless. The only reason for the variance is to get the standard deviation. And I got 8.29. So I'm going to highlight this one yellow, and this one yellow, and this one per day, and this one aqua.
If it's asking for the standard deviation, are we getting, like on the test?
I don't know what it's at. I think it's going to ask for the standard
If it
deviation.
does, do you want us to square the whole variance number and not round it?
Yeah, if you wanted the variance and they gave you the standard deviation, you would raise 8.2938, blah, 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 to the second power. And if you wanted to go this way, you take the square root. Let's see what the question asks. Okay, approximate the mean and the standard deviation of the temperatures. So what does it say round to? 1 decimal place. Oh, golly, consistency. Isn't that nice? Okay, the mean is 80.5. And the standard deviation is 8.3. Don't ask me why they go away. I don't know why they go away when I do that. I done forgot. What'd I say?
80.3.
The standard deviation is what?
8.3.
8.3. Now it says use the frequency histogram of the data to verify that the distribution is bell curve. Is it? Yeah, pretty much. Why? Because it's got a hump in the middle. Is the hump on the left? No. Is the hump on the right? No. So it's, now if it was all over the place, it would be no. But according to the empirical rule, 95% of the days of the month will be between what two temperatures? All right, draw a picture. What do you mean draw a picture, Hubert? Go back to your data. Is this our data? Is this it? Okay. Go back to your data. When you have a mean and a standard deviation, what are you supposed to do to it? Draw a picture. I'm not going to draw the bell curve, but I'm going to put the mean in the middle right here. Its mean is right there. And then what am I going to do to the right? I'm going to add the standard deviation. Thank you. You're supposed to say, I don't know. You didn't show us, Hubert. Yeah. I'm only going 2 because by the empirical rule, 95% falls within how many standard deviations? 2. So I'm only going to cover 2. This minus the standard deviation. F4. So where does 95% fall? Wait a minute. I'm starting to get impatient. Tequila impatient. Here we go. 63.9 to what? 97.1. 63.9, 97.1. 63.9, 97.1. And that's it. So let's hit check answer to see if we know what we're doing. It's a miracle. All those are 100% correct. All right, who's got a question? So you're either going to look up and get this one, or you're going to have a bad day and get the other one. Because that's the only, I think there's only 2 questions that I picked to be pulled. So you're either going to get this one, or you're going to get the other one. So make sure you got, now, on your calculator, what I would do is punch in the punch in the midpoint, and then and you'll have L1 and L2. So let's go there, and I'm not gonna punch in. I'm just gonna go here, and I'm gonna punch in midpoint. So go to Stat, Edit. And I'm going to type in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's my midpoints. So go ahead and calculate your midpoints. And then I'm going to type in 2 days, 4 days, 8 days, 3 days, and 2 days. There's my frequency. So I typed in my midpoint and my frequency. Everybody with me? Now I'm going to type in stat, and I think it's calculate, of course. I think And I think it's going to be either 1 or 2 variable. I can't remember. I think it's 2 variable. Yeah. 2 variable. And it's already defaulted to L1 and L2, so you don't have to do that. Hit calculate. Now they are. So we're going to go back and type in those numbers. Somebody will give me the somebody give me the midpoints. What are the midpoints? 54.5. Okay, so it's class width of 10, 64.5, 74.5, 84.5. Where did I stop? 94.5 and 104.5. Is that them? Okay, now give me the frequencies.
1, 306, 1463, 1548, 508, and
14. So now I'm going to go to stat, calculate, number 2, because you got 2 columns instead of 1. Okay, 1 would be like test scores. Okay, so, and it's going to automatically default to L1 and L2, unless you go to L3 and L4. Why you would do that, I don't know. And just hit calculate. So what was our X bar? Was it 79.5? I hope it was. What was it? Okay, it shouldn't be. How did we get different? You sure I typed in the right numbers? Because the standard deviation on this one is 18.7. That must not be right. Stat, edit, check my numbers. Oh, 54.5. 54.5. I don't know if that'll make a difference. Now let me do second stat, calculate, second variable, L1 and L2. I still got 79.5. I must not be doing something right on the calculator. Let me see right quick if that's what you're supposed to do. Hold on. Because I'm not a calculator guru. I don't. What?
first variable.
Is it first variable?
Yeah.
And did it go to L1 and L2? Oh, it does? Okay, my bad. I thought L1. Okay, my bad. So go to stat and do first variable statistic.
Mine pulled up in the like that was L1, the next one was L2.
Well, I think I need to change something. What do you change? I got to do the second L2. There we go. Okay, so you can put that in there. Okay. There we go. My bad. And 8.3 is your SX. Remember, SX is your standard deviation. Comprende? And that's basically how you do those 2 questions. Question, gripe, complaint. All right, so y'all are good for the test now, right? Yes, Hubert, we're ready to go, Hubert. Good. Let me go over here and I'll change the dates so y'all won't moan and complain. Let's see, all the homework goes to 3.5, doesn't it? When is it due? Tonight also? So I'll change it. 3.5, 3.4, 3.2, 1, 2 points. Wait a minute, I can't, I gotta go to the one, I can't do that. I gotta go to the 120 class that has control over both of these classes down here. Where's 120? There it is. So it should change for both of y'all.
What's the other class?
Where's those what?
When is that class?
What do you mean?
Do you have another 120?
No, there's two classes. Tri-County, Mayberry, they have two separate classes, so I have to go through it. Of course, they fixed a technology-driven institution. They can fix it. But Tri-County, we're still two classes because they can't merge them together. That's all I'm going to say. All right, let me do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, and 3, 5, and the test. Which one revised? And they will all be due. Instead of tonight at midnight, I'll make it, what's today? Today the 4th? I'll make it the 6th, and that way y'all won't have anything to complain about. Any questions? Okay, so when you go to your 120 class now, let's go and check it. I'm just going to check one of them. First one, I don't know who 14 is. Is that y'all or is that? Go to, I'm looking for which one is it, quizzes and tests. And it should say, there it is. Is that 6? Is that what it said? Yeah. So it's due on the 6th. All right? All right, y'all get out of here and have a good day. Get everything done when you come.